Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is April the 4th, 2013. My name is Eric Peterson. Joining me tonight is Jess, the Muscles Clarkson.
I'm Brawny.
What did you say that I was? You said I was the beauty of the show and you were the brawn?
Yeah.
I think
because Aaron was the brains.
Is that right?
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Jeez. Aaron Robison's back. Long lost.
Hey.
Aaron Robison. And I know we've been talking about it for a long time, but it's finally here. We have joining us tonight Mr. Elias Toufexis.
Hey guys, what's up?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I know we've been planning this for a long time. We initially started to or at least Jess started talking to you, last Fan Expo or something like that, when the seed was first planted?
Yeah, I think so. She came up to me after we did a panel there about acting in video games, and Jess came up and talked to us, and then we've been talking about it for a while. It's hard on an actor's schedule coupled with the family schedule. It's very difficult to nail anything down.
So you guys had to go and have a baby.
Yeah,
mess up our plans.
Another one.
Kids. Yeah, I understand. It's hard enough. We're all in 3 different parts of the country, so trying to tie us down is hard enough.
Yeah,
but
it's true. Time differences and all that. Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, time differences screw us up.
Hey, I don't have to worry about it. Phoenix just picked a time and they stay there. Why the rest of you guys have to go shuffling around with your clocks is beyond me.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah. So right now we are in Pacific time, and then in the fall we go back to Mountain time. So when I moved down here, I just set my clock and haven't touched it since.
That's cool, man. I didn't even know. That's funny.
I think Phoenix is just as little, not Phoenix, but I think Arizona in general is just one of the only areas that doesn't mess with it. So it's fantastic. But for now,
there's some comedy. There's some comedy there about you guys not being able to tell time, things like that. But we won't go into it.
All right.
So you're gonna have to excuse me. My wife brought me dinner, and I didn't get a chance to eat it because I'm trying to set up our computers here. My one laptop is about to explode, so I had to borrow my wife's. So we're coming to you live from the full flower computer, complete with flower mouse. I think it's even scented too. So if you guys hear me munching on a taco from the D-back special, you'll have to excuse that.
Why you should get a Mac.
No, why would I get a Mac when I can have 3 kind of functioning laptops?
I think you just answered your own question.
But I can have 3.
This is America. More is better.
Not to mention these laptops are huge.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding. So, Elias, let's get a little bit of your history on video games, because you're kind of a big name in gaming, at least in the voice acting world, but not a lot of people really know how these people started in games. So whenever we bring a guest on, we kind of like to know what's your history with games?
I always wanted to get into voice acting, but then what ended up happening was I was doing a bunch of cartoon voices and radio commercials, things like that, for like McDonald's and Yellow Pages and stuff like that. And then it's funny, my first video game I got just by auditioning like I do for any film or television. It was Need for Speed Carbon. I was in that.
You were, that's right.
Yeah, but it was all live action. We did voice after, like adding, things like, things you yell at the driver, like follow me and things like that. But most of it was done live action on a green screen. And so I just auditioned for that like a normal film. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm a gamer. So it was pretty cool. And then I had done Rainbow Six Vegas 2. And that I just got by auditioning as a voice actor. And then it kind of just, because that was Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is so big in Canada, it kind of just, like, it snowballed. And it just kept going. All of a sudden I was doing, game after game after game. And then what else changed was it was game after game, and then those games stopped being voice acting and became full-on performance capture. And that's where it is now. No game I'm working on now is voice acting anymore.
So you kind of got
so
pulled
much-
into the mocap of it?
Yeah, so much so that when people say like, "Oh, I love your voice acting in whatever," I always want to say, "Well, you know what? I mean, aside from Adam Jensen, because he's first person most of the time in Deus Ex, but like in every other game, we're talking full like Gollum style performance.
Wow.
So it's not a voice acting anymore.
Do you prefer doing that over voice acting?
Yes, by miles. Not necessarily because I approach a character any different or anything like that, but because what we used to do was we would voice a character and then either somebody else would or motion capture it, I should say, or the animators themselves would just animate it to like them motion capturing it. Motion capture is almost always used, unless it's like a game like Prince of Persia, which I did, which has a little bit of stunt work motion capture, but everything else is kind of animated, like a cartoon. That I don't care. That I'd like to do it in the booth. But any Assassin's Creed game, the Splinter Cell games, if it's my voice, I want it to be my body.
I was going to say, I feel like there'd be a little bit of a disconnect there because the way that you're saying it is going to be tied directly to how your body is.
Exactly. There's times in games that I've seen where I didn't do the body, and I was like, I would not have said it like that if I was sitting down. Or I would not have said it like that. Or he's running and I'm saying it all calm, or something like that.
I'm so angry while sitting in this chair.
Yeah, it's just very different. So games, actually, on the advice of actors, mostly we've pushed things into this realm of now everything's captured like Avatar. Like I did Splinter Cell Blacklist, and I think I'm done. I might have a couple more days on it, but I think I did 2 days in a sound booth and a year and a half on a motion capture stage.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, not every day. I say a year and a half, but it was like twice a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes like 4 days a month, things like that. But I was in a mocap stage for the whole time. And then we did added voice to it later for stuff that we realized we needed to make clear. So it's no longer just me in a sound booth. I still do a lot of voice work because I do a lot of ads and things like that. But really, 99% of games now, AAA games, are motion captured.
Wow. So when you were growing up, what kind of games did you play as a kid, or did you really not grow up playing games?
No, when I was a kid, gaming was my life. Aside from like movies are everything to me, and then gaming to me, like I remember the Nintendo. For me, the NES was right when I was the right age. I think I was 8 or something, 9 when it came out. So, yeah, I mean, from Contra to Castlevania to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out to the Mario games.
Oh, there you go. It's a Mario. Jess.
You know what? Shut your mouth, Eric.
It's got to be a Canadian thing.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
probably.
think Mario's
Mario
only popular
nowadays.
in Canada.
Well, I work with a guy named Mario, and he pronounces it Mario. But then again, he's not.
You guys are saying name of the way we say.
I say
no.
Mario all the time. All of the time.
Oh, instead of Mario.
Yeah.
Wait, what have I been saying?
Mario.
Mario.
Oh, I didn't even realize it.
I say Super Mario. No, I don't know.
You say Super Mario.
But
I
I
say
was
Mario.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can say it. Have you guys ever met the voice of Mario?
Mario is a voice?
Yeah, Mario's a voice actor, yeah.
Yeah, he's like this.
Right.
He looks.
He's like this Norwegian, German-speaking man, I believe. I think he's German, actually.
He looks like Santa Claus.
Yeah, he does not. Without a beard, maybe a beard he might, but I've seen him without a beard. And, that guy does not resemble what Mario looks or sounds like.
I thought Mario just said, rant, things like that.
I think there's a few more lines, but
Yeah, good.
Right.
he's.
Or to me, and I may be dating myself, but to me, Mario is Captain Lou Albano from the
Oh, yes, of
Super
course.
Nintendo show.
Yeah. That show didn't hold up too well over time, though.
It's funny. It's on Netflix, and my kid digs it. It's so funny.
Such a
put
good
it
show.
on,
He's watched
she's
it
like,
all the
Mario.
time.
My wife knows how much of a gamer I am, and bless her heart, she buys me a ton of stuff. And for our anniversary one year, she surprised me with the Adventures of Super Mario Brothers 3 DVD set and the Legend of Zelda set. And I'm sort of like, yeah, this stuff's fantastic. And then I put it in. And
didn't really hold up.
no, not like the Mario one's forgivable, but the Zelda one that was not.
I know. I remember that. It was pretty terrible.
Like Link is not a womanizer with a high pitched teenage prepubescent voice. That's so Mario 2 is one that we played this week in hopes of talking about that with you, because we kind of wanted to target one specific game, and maybe there was a miscommunication with what we were going to play, but
I miscommunicate a lot.
she does, as well as derailing and yeah.
I believe it was this morning I learned about Mario to play.
I learned about it a couple days ago.
Finish it fast.
Yeah. So is Mario 2 one of those games that holds a fond place for you, or like just all the Mario games across the board?
Well, all of them do, but for some reason, I remember I had these things. My sisters and I have two younger sisters, and we were all into the same games, and well, for the most part, the same games that girls could like. They never played Contra, but I remember in the Super Mario Brothers. I was able to finish it in 9 minutes. That was my rule. Like, I'm going to play it, I'm going to finish it in 9 minutes.
The original?
The original. Because you go through the warps, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do it in 9 minutes without collecting anything and just running through every level.
Well, that's how you're supposed to play Mario. Hold down the run button and jump. That's
exactly. So I remember that was my deal with Mario 1. Mario 3 was always a blast, and we loved it. And then, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a movie that came out. I think it was called The Wizard.
Yeah, with Fred Savage.
Yeah,
Fred
that was a great movie.
Where they showed Mario 3, and they showed him getting all these secrets.
Did those secrets even exist?
They did. The thing about it was that, I mean, back in the day, we didn't have internet or anything like that to figure it out. So we would, like, talk about it on the playground. Like, what did he do in that movie? Did anybody see that movie? How did he get to that? And then we just figured it out. Then we bought those magazines. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Nintendo Power.
Didn't they use the wizard to unveil Mario 3 to the world?
I think they did. I don't have that kind of memory with it, but I think they did.
Because they had those.
I'm that kind of nerd that does.
Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had those cartridges that had the 3 games, because there used to be a game show where you would play 3 different segments of games, and Mario 3 was on the end of one of those segments, and they used that in the movie to unveil the game, and everybody just
the
lost
movie
their
was
mind.
the first time they showed Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and freaking. I think I remember seeing it on Entertainment Tonight and freaking out.
And it was also their only, from my memory, it was the only advertisement they ever did for the Power Glove.
It's so bad.
Oh yeah, the Power Glove.
That's the only line I remember from that movie.
It's so bad. And it is terrible, by the way. It is bad.
The Power Glove and that robot. Remember that robot?
Rob the
robot
robot you could do so many things with.
I can never
Really?
find Rob the Robot.
Like make
for
him
sale.
go left and right and pick
Oh.
things up.
It's so funny how we've lived through different technologies that haven't worked.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you could even the Kinect. I mean, I like the Kinect, and my daughter loves it, but you could see how many problems it has, and how whatever they're going to do next is going to be so much better. And you think back to the Power Glove, and you think back
Did you
to
ever
the Wii.
play with the Virtual Boy?
No,
That thing.
I know what you're talking about.
That thing was dangerous. I had a friend who played that thing. He was hooked on the Wario Land game for it, and he would play it for hours on end, and he would come away from it, and his mom would be like, Ben, there is something wrong with your eyes. And like she'd look at his eyes, and they'd be flickering back and forth.
Oh my god.
I think you need to give that thing away. It's not doing too good.
That's funny.
That system was... I remember seeing that thing at KB Toys. Like, that thing looks so cool, and didn't hold up. And there was like the Jaguar, had all 60 games on the controller.
Yeah.
But
You know what's interesting now? Like you look back, I look back on it because now my daughter's almost 3, so she's starting to. Anytime she sees a commercial, she's starting to say things like, "I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that," and then I'm looking at it and I'm saying, "Did I fall for this crap when I was?" Because that's a terrible toy.
well, that's why the Wii kept shoveling out all that shovelware.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But Yeah, man, all those things when I was a kid, I loved that. But we're going to say Super Mario 2.
Yeah, what is it about
reason,
Super Mario 2? Because
Yeah, not my favorite.
that game for me is not the I would put that at the bottom of the Mario list.
Yeah, it's not so much that it's the best game. It's that it's the one that is the most different. So if you could play 1 and 3 is like almost like a reboot of 1. It's except added things. And then all of them that have come out have always been kind of that Mario 3 kind of feel.
Yeah.
But Super Mario 2 with picking things up, fighting these weird like the characters were they're no Goombas or turtles or things like that. It was just very, very different. So for some reason,
it's interesting how that game came about though, because that's not the true Mario 2. The true Mario 2 was exactly like 1. It was released in Japan, and then when they were getting to westernize it, they said, this game's too hard for Americans, let's make something else. So they took another game that was currently in development called Doki Doki Panic and slapped Mario characters into it and shoved it over to America and said, here you go, here's Mario 2. And people ate it up.
You guys know way more. You guys know way more than me about that.
Yeah, that's what I remember too. It was another game that they put in there.
And Doki Doki Panic's not bad. It's just that it was created as a game to be kind of a Mario prototype, like a vertical scrolling, side scrolling type game, and it had like a genie, it had some sort of wizard, and then two other like a Arabic princess, and then some other character that they all handled and everything exactly the same way as Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad. But
that's another thing I liked about that game. I remember thinking like, oh, this level is great because Peach can float. This level is great because Toad is strong. Like that. Those
Peach was the best. They're like, I swear, she had the best.
What were their different abilities that they had? I know Mario is just basic Mario.
Yeah,
Mario was the average of all of them. Luigi can jump the highest.
And he has his crazy leg kicks when he jumps.
Kicks, which would totally throw you off, and you'd land in the wrong spot.
Is that the first time that they introduced that? Because every time you play Luigi in games now, he has that little leg flutter and he can float.
Oh, does he? Yeah, no, that was the first time I'm sure I saw it.
Yeah.
Unless they did it in the original Mario 2, because in the original Mario 2, the Japanese version, you could pick Mario or Luigi, but I guess I never played that. Actually, they did release that in Super Mario All-Stars. It was called Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels.
Right. And actually, that wasn't the first appearance of Luigi either. That came in Mario Bros.
Oh, where they would stomp each other in the sewers?
Oh, yeah.
Based like the Donkey Kong style ripoff.
Based on Donkey Kong stuff, yeah.
And then that was
and they throw Mario everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I agree with you, though, Elias, on the characters in that game. They're interesting, and I think that my favorite one in there has got to be Birdo, the recurring dinosaur. And if you read about Birdo...
That was his name?
Yeah, it's Birdo. And it's a guy, and if you read the original Japanese instruction manual, he's billed as a boy with an identity crisis who thinks he's a girl. So he wears lipstick and has eyelashes and everything, and he's really flamboyant.
Huh.
And he lays eggs?
He shoots eggs out of his mouth.
Yeah.
You guys are ruining my childhood.
That's what we do on this show.
We destroyed a lot of Jess's childhood memories of Disney movies, and it's fun.
But that's really what it is for me. It's just it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I played that one the most because it was the most difficult because I would be able to pass Mario 3 pretty simply when I figured out where all the flutes are and things like that.
I don't think it had the warp zones either you could go to. It was literally you have to go through every single
Are there
level.
any secrets?
No, it did have warps. You were able to throw that. Remember that potion that you would throw down?
There's the potion, but then it just brings you to the other side. Like on a,
no. If you press, I can't believe I'm actually having this conversation. If you press if you put the potion and go in the door on one of those tubes that you can go in, sometimes one of those tubes leads you to a new level.
Okay.
Or you can jump to. But they're still so difficult.
Had I not taken the typical Mario approach of just running through the damn game as fast as possible, I may have picked up on that.
But there's a few, because like you can jump over the waterfall to get to the end of the level, like on the first one, instead of going up through the clouds. Yeah, those are the ones that I knew. But we would play, like me and my friends would play it really weird when we were little. We would all pick a different like monster, and that was ours that we couldn't kill, and we could kill the rest of them, but we couldn't kill that one. So it got really hard towards the end. Like, yeah.
When I was playing through it this past week, the nostalgic factor for me is really high up until the end of World 2. I never played past World 2 for some reason, so I got past that and I'm like, oh, this is all new. I have no memories of this, and I think for me that kind of ruined the entertainment value of it because I had nothing to connect with. And then I got to the end of it, like, what the hell is this? Mario's sleeping and this whole thing's a dream?
It's a dream. Yeah. That's a good way to it's a good way to say that that's not the real Mario 2 or nothing.
Yeah, like, it's the most cliche storytelling technique to have him in a dream. Yeah. Like, hey, you got to the end, just kidding.
Wait. I'm not saying that this game is like extremely well written, amazingly done game. I'm just saying, nostalgia-wise, it was one of my favorite games.
I will say,
it's funny, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that just the other day, because I'm hosting these video game awards here up in Canada, and we're doing a bit about Nintendo, and so I installed like a Nintendo emulator, and I got I shouldn't be talking about illegal stuff, but whatever. I got every Nintendo game that's available as a ROM, and I started going through them, and the same thing that happened to you with Mario 2 happened to me, which was I would play for 5 minutes and I'd be like, "This is the greatest thing," and then like 3 minutes later, I'm so bored, so bored with this stuff, because you realize that what you love about it is just that it reminds you of your childhood.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're fun games and stuff, but really, it's it's like Contra. After the first 2 levels, it's like, all right, this is a dumb game.
Yeah, once you get to that side-scrolling aspect, you're like, this game's too damn hard. Put it away. And I guarantee you, stuff like that's going to happen with modern generation games. Like, I absolutely love Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and I guarantee you, 20 years from now, I'm going to look back at it and be like, Jesus Christ, why did I love that game? But the only thing for me that has held up, regardless of how old I get or what other games I play, is the entire Mega Man series.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Do not get sick of Mega Man.
That is not true, Eric. You have said several times that you do not like. Now I'm drawing a blank, but one of those series, is it Mega Man 9 or 10?
No, it's Mega Man Legends.
Legends, there you go.
That's not a true Mega Man game. But
I love. Why did you even open that can of worms, Aaron?
I don't know. Hey, no, I do have a question for Elias here about the Mario Brothers 2. When you beat it as a young boy,
a youngin.
I was young when I beat it.
Without the deep voice.
That's right, I had a deep voice at a young age. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, when you got to the end, did you have that rumor? Because I heard a rumor, my buddy had a rumor about once you beat the game and you let him go take that nap, something was going to happen. Like there was like a cutscene at the very end if you let it sit there.
I kind of had that
for a while.
I know that rumor too, but I don't.
Because I remember there was nothing. Me and my buddy beat it, and we left the TV on and the console. I think we left it on for 6 hours. We were out playing and came back in and looked, and he's just snoring still and sleeping. And I was like,
it's a long sleep.
Stupid.
Maybe had you waited 7 hours, you missed out.
But at least, it's like beat Final Fantasy 7 times, and Ares lives.
That's interesting, though, that you mentioned that again, because earlier Elias said that that's stuff that you talk about with each other on the playground, and I think modern games, it's so hard to get those rumors going because the internet is there and you can instantly debunk something. Whereas when you're in 3rd grade on the playground, you're like, yeah, my older brother told me this, and then he goes and says that the bus driver told him this, and things just get so convoluted that these stupid rumors spread. Like, you can see Lara Croft naked at the end of Tomb Raider. I miss that.
The internet. But again, the internet changes... the internet changes that, but it also makes the ability to, hey, I feel like, literally like 2 hours ago, I was like, you know what I feel like playing? Warcraft 2.
Oh, God.
Not Warcraft 3, just Warcraft. It took me 15 seconds, and then I had it working completely fine on my computer. I played it for about a minute and a half, but that's not the point. The point is that I'm like, oh, I want to play Warcraft 2. 15 seconds later, I had it installed on my computer.
Yeah.
When Warcraft 2 came out, it was like $40, 4 hours to install it on 6 floppy disks or whatever it was. It's like it's amazing. It's amazing now.
See, I still have a huge collection of Super Nintendo and NES games, but I don't ever play them for that exact reason. I put it in, like, I'll put in an RPG that I absolutely love, and 20 minutes into it, like, I'm not dedicating 60 hours to this. I have a full-time job.
Yeah, no kidding.
I got better games to play. So I think it's just that nostalgic factor. You pop it in, and it's like, you know what? This was cool once.
What?
Yeah, that's what it is, man. And it's cool for about 5 seconds, then it's stopped.
But for people that haven't played it, though, there are certain games that are really genuinely worth going back and playing just to experience it.
Yeah. Well, I got a friend of mine, Lamar, who will go back every year and play Dragon Warrior on NES all the way through.
That's a dedication.
Just because he feels like I'm going to do it. It takes him like 6 months or whatever, but he feels like playing all the way from beginning to end.
I kind of do the same thing with my sister, though. Whenever we go on road trips, just recently we drove up to Vegas with my grandparents, and I had Mega Man 2 on my PSP, and we would always do speed runs of it, see who could beat Mega Man 2 faster. And it's just, that's something that we've always done. And it's one game that I always go back and play.
Yeah, man, Nintendo. I love it.
So, let's see. We're getting to the end of our time we've got with you, but we did have some people send in some emails that they wanted to ask you. I gotta dig them up. This is kind of our style. We don't screen our emails, so we just kind of cold turkey them.
Sure.
All right.
Again, we're super organized and yeah.
Let's
the best ever.
Let's see here. It says, Dear Elias and Michelle, this one's coming from Justin McLaren. Having appeared on both the Mana Tank podcast, I'm not sure if you guys remember doing that a couple years ago, and now Factory Sealed, the only Mana Tank show you haven't been on is 20 Minute Surrender, a League of Legends podcast, which unfortunately is defunct. Now, I doubt either of you play League of Legends, but involves a lot of strategy. This got me thinking, do strategy games appeal to you guys? And if so, which games and what do you enjoy about them? If not, why?
I like real-time strategy games a lot. I'm a big, like I said, I downloaded Warcraft 2 just because I felt like playing it for like 5 minutes. But I'm a big fan of. I still play Battle for Middle-earth 2.
Really?
Just because I love the Lord of the Rings universe, but I love planning and holding down forts and making sure your archers are there enough, and having the strategy that, when the orcs come, they're going to come. You're going to funnel them through here and things. That kind of stuff I love, and I've always loved. That's why I like Warcraft and Starcraft and things like that.
But are you good enough to compete in the Korean Starcraft leagues?
I highly doubt it. I did play StarCraft online.
And by the time they said go, you probably had a Zerg swarm on you and you were toast.
I was dead. It was ridiculous.
I don't understand how people do it.
It was ridiculous. I couldn't even start building whatever. I don't even remember whatever the hell you have to build. And I was done.
I surrender. All right, we got one more here from Daryl Taggle. He writes in, Hey, Factory Sealed, Daryl here. I have a few questions for Mr. Toufexis. He's quite a formal gentleman. First of all, what are your most anticipated games of this year? And second, of the games you've ever played, which are the most disappointing? And lastly, if you could play the lead of any game, what game would it be and why? So, first one, most anticipated games of the year.
This kind of plays into the last question, too. My most anticipated, and it's not necessarily of this year, but my favorite game, maybe of all time, it'll end up being Arkham City. I love Arkham City so much that they said they're making a new one, and actually know some people that are working on a new Batman game. I don't know if it's the next Arkham City or whatever it is, but that game is anytime there's a Batman game, especially by those guys, I'm looking forward to that the most. This year, I always look forward to the NHL games, the EA games. I was looking forward to BioShock, which I'm glad we got. And although I didn't really like Dead Island that much, the second one, I just like playing online with my friends. Like, we have like a thing that we play online every Sunday. So
that is awesome.
Dead Island is like, okay, we're gonna play Dead Island. So I'm looking Looking forward to that.
I suppose that's mindless fun.
It's mindless fun. It's not. My favorite game to play online is Red Dead Redemption.
Oh
gosh. Never ever play with Eric. He's the worst.
All I do is shoot horses. That's my whole prerogative.
That's terrible.
Jess just comes galloping over the mountain and her horse is dead.
Bam.
That's it.
But the game that is disappointing me the most is Colonial Marines. That game was...
Have you played Walking Dead Survival Instinct?
Oh, no. I've heard it's terrible, too.
I heard it's worse than Colonial Marines, and that takes a beating.
But I'm not... I love the Walking Dead books. I love them. I really, really love them. I love the first season of Walking Dead.
I was going to say, I think you tweeted that out, that the show is losing you.
Yeah, it is. It's losing me just because of... because of weak character writing is what it is.
I was really into it until the second season, because I was reading the comics concurrently with watching the show, and
very different.
As soon as they got to Herschel's farm, and the whole second season was Herschel's farm, it lost me. And then
it's very different.
I picked it up, and I'm getting to. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I'm getting to the big event with Lori, and it's just kind of like, really, really. You're losing me here, and I have no interest in finishing it. But
there's a lot of good stuff in the third season, and it's still a very watchable show. But it has issues. That's all I'll say.
It could be better.
Yeah, it could be better.
Hopefully, they turn it around and don't jump shark soon, because I want to like it. I really do.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of good shows here, I'd like to thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem.
Being a part
Thanks.
of the greatest television show on the planet. Smallville.
Smallville.
And for being on there for 3 of the episodes.
Totally going to cut Aaron off because he can go on with Smallville for a long time.
That's all I'm going to say.
But I know you have to run, so potentially a Smallville show, and then Aaron can be super excited about that.
All right, we'll do this again one day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Good luck with the awards show.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll tweet all about it. All right.
Feels good. Good night.
Good night.
All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll come back. We'll collect ourselves and talk about some other stuff. All right, you guys ready to come back?
Ready.
Because we're back.
Ready.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
What up?
Where'd we go?
That is the first break in Factory Sealed history.
We didn't even know what to do. I was so confused.
Yeah. Jess thought it was a real break and that she had to stop talking for the entire break.
I know. How embarrassing.
We'll get there. So, unfortunately...
I took a cold shower during that break.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hey, for all we know, the break could have been 2.5 weeks, for all the listener knows.
That's true.
It could be years. It could be months. It was
I'm going. I was so excited.
It was actually 15 seconds.
I grew a beard.
On top of the one you already have?
Yeah. Dual layer beard.
You braiding them?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're just giving yourself a mock-up for the Gimli helmet and beard that you're going to be knitting for me, right?
Oh, I crocheted my Batman one the other day for my friend for his birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You know what?
You
know what I've decided I'm going to do?
What?
We're moving tomorrow. And
to Minnesota?
No, you wish.
Canada?
I can't come up there and teach you how to ride a motorcycle.
God damn it, Eric. It's the nice weather out. People are riding their bikes.
Oh, you're going to go out there and show them how to dump it. What was I talking about?
True. Moving tomorrow.
I don't even remember.
You're talking about moving
you want
tomorrow.
A hat.
I completely
use.
lost. I don't know. You know what? Something just completely threw me off my game. Some goofy noise from Skype here. So Mute all sounds. There we go. All right. Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yes.
What?
Do we ever really have stuff to talk about?
I want to continue to play The Immortal.
That game, pardon my French, is a son of a bitch.
Yes. I got the game. I saw it go. I'm like, this is really cool, and I can't believe I missed this as a young man playing games. I never heard of this game.
As a young man.
As a young man.
A young gentleman.
I was only a boy for a very short time.
Okay. Is that your story?
That's it. I found $5.
I'm confused with where that was going and what it's doing.
You see, it's not a good story unless you find money. Like I found $5. You know.
What does this have to do with The Immortal?
Okay, never mind. Anyways, The Immortal. I'm playing The Immortal. I thought it was really cool. It's the like top, isometric view of a world. The dungeon. You are this guy who apparently you are not the guy, but somebody thinks you're the guy. You see this faces comes out of this like urn.
What do they think your name is? Durkin?
Durkin or something. Durkus or Duncan or something. And basically you have to go and you can open a door, and then there are some doors are locked. So you have to have a key to get in the door. But then there's these like ogres or orcs or something running around that you get in a fight with. But now there's two views. So there's the single view of just, the over-the-top isometric guy and the guy walking.
You can actually the isometric view is best described. It's almost exactly like the original Diablo.
Perfect. So then you can also shoot, right? You can shoot like a fireball. With your
wand. It doesn't do anything, though.
It doesn't. But then you see the bad guys, you can try to do it, and you can't hit them with it. Then you get close combat, and then they go to this other screen.
And it's like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Sort of, and you have no idea what buttons to hit. He's hitting the button, and your thing is going...
There's two buttons on the Nintendo.
I got it, but I don't know which one is doing what. I couldn't figure out which
50-50 chance.
And by the way, I have 10 buttons on the controller that I'm using.
Map 2 of them, and forget about the rest.
Do you have to put like tape over the rest of them?
But here's the point. I didn't know which button... Okay, when I figured out how to fight in there, I was hitting a button, I was doing damage to him.
Okay.
But at the same time, I couldn't figure out if one of the buttons was actually blocking me or just stopping me from doing an action.
There's the combat system is actually kind of cool because you can swing. You can if you just hit the attack button, he's just going to poke at him like he's a mild annoyance. If you hit right, he's going to do. If you hit right and swing, he's going to do like a heavy-handed full swing, and it's going to take out more damage. And I think if you do left, it either does that from the other side or it just pokes him. And then if you hit the direction and the other button, he'll duck to the right, he'll duck to the left, or he'll duck back. Or you can just stand there like a man and take the sword to the throat.
So that's what I did. I stood there because I was unaware that I could use the directional pad with my button combinations.
Yeah.
So now when I go back to play this game, I'm actually going to get past the second set of doors.
It's so difficult. That game is ridiculously hard. And I think I made this analogy a few shows ago, but it is the 1990s version of Demon's Souls. It's unforgivingly hard. You walk into a room and hey, it just looks like a big square brick room with a lamp on the wall. And you're like, oh, there's a door on the other side, and you walk over to the door and the floor falls apart underneath you and says, "Ha ha, start over."
Right.
I would hate my life.
Or you walk through a room and there's these arrows shooting out of the wall and you think you get the pattern down, and then as you get to a certain location, it triggers another one and kills you, and guess what? You start over.
Right. This is when, if you can play this game on an emulator,
you save
feel
state.
free to use the save state every 10 seconds.
Here's the thing. I went to I went to my local retro store with the intention of looking for this game because I'm a glutton for punishment. I love really, really difficult games. Hence Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Mega Man. But I wanted to play this game the way it was meant to be played because just like you said, when I played on an emulator, I'm so tempted to use the save states, and I have, but I feel like that takes the enjoyment out of a game like this because this game was made to be difficult.
Yes.
Are you going to finish that statement or just leave a thing?
Thanks for picking up on my thought there.
Difficult.
The
game
to me though was very interesting, and I really wanted to get further in it, but I was getting very frustrated with the fact that I couldn't figure out how to do this combat system, or the stupid ass 360 controller that I'm using is too touchy. So when I'm trying to avoid the fire spurts out of the ground and walk around it, I always walk right into it and you're dead. You just turn to ash and you have to start over.
Well, you could, if you wanted to spend a few dollars, get a USB NES controller.
I suppose. Next time I go to Winona, I'll probably go to Jimmy Jam's and look for one. So.
Just put tape on the rest of the buttons. You won't hit them. It'll be good.
Or just use your brain and remember that you only have to know 2 buttons.
Come on, yeah.
If you combine that with your D-pad, you have a total of 10.
8?
Can you count to 10?
7.
Okay.
9. Apparently not. No, I'm gonna get a new controller. I got an old Sidewinder controller around here somewhere. I'm gonna dig that out and use that instead.
I don't know what the premise to this game is though, because you walk into the first room they dump you out in. There's this goofy chalk mist floating in the room, and you go talk to it, and it says something about
it's actually a face. If you look at it, that does look like a pretty good face. It's a really good drawing of a face.
Real Wizard Duncan is in the levels below, so I think it's just a.
Right.
It's a dungeon crawler down into this pit. That's it.
Right, but the first room you go into after that room, there's a guy on the ground who has Duncan's ring.
Yeah.
Do you want it? And you can take it from him.
And then there's a sappy love note. And then
I haven't got to the note yet.
And then you die.
Pretty much, because there's a chest over there. Next row, those arrows are coming out in between the fire bursts.
Well, you can pick up potions, and you can pick up certain other things. And then I went into the inventory, and there's something on the left side of the screen, bottom and top. So I highlighted the potion, and I think I threw it away. It didn't tell me what happened to it. It's like, oh, sorry, you picked the wrong button combination. Try the other 9.
It's a game that I made just do a Google search on for manual. It's definitely a game you probably wanted the manual for.
It's just going to be
those people that come in. This doesn't have a manual.
It's going to be a giant.
What do you
picture.
Want the manual for? So you can see what buttons are.
It's going to be a giant picture of a middle finger, just telling you to play the game.
Have fun.
There's 10 combinations. Figure it out, Aaron.
I'm going to play it again.
I'm going to try to beat it. And I'm going to admit now that if I can't find an actual copy, I'm going to emulate it, and I'm going to save state the hell out of it.
All right.
Because I want to beat it. I want to know what this game's all about. Because if there are boss battles, they got to be hard.
I want you to get a stopwatch, and every time that you play the game, I want you to use that stopwatch.
Why?
And I want to know how long it takes you to beat it.
Why?
Because there's
most
games now.
Are you on that tight of a time budget?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you if you can tell how long it takes to beat that game. Because apparently it's gonna if it's that difficult, it's not going to be one of those ones you can get through in 9-10 minutes.
I'm an expert. I'm sure if I just turned the controller right side up instead of playing all my games upside down, I could get through it in a few minutes.
Well, there you go.
Nothing from Jess on that one.
She's gone.
I'm zoned out.
You know, I told a lot of people that asked me about this that we were going to push it to next week, but you know what? I can't wait. Jess, we need to talk about Mother 3.
So, like, the week from hell that I had didn't really leave a huge amount of time for games, so I didn't get super far into the game. I didn't get farther than what we had talked about.
Which, I don't remember what it was. But...
No, my wife!
Before we get to that did remind me.
What?
My sincere... sympathies for you, Jess.
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you.
I know what that's like. So it's not fun.
For everyone listening, so everyone's not like, oh, I wonder what the hell happened.
We're going to make it seem like it's the worst thing ever because it kind of is.
It was so sad. Well, we had to put my cat down, who like, obviously I wasn't super popular in school, like, if you can believe it or not. I don't know. So I didn't have, like, a lot of friends. So my cat was, like, my best
You just
friend.
didn't have enough video games.
Yeah, it's true. But, yeah, we had to put her down on Wednesday. And then my grandmother died on Good Friday. So it was just a lot of death in 1 week.
Wow. That doesn't make for a fun week. And then trying to play a game like Mother 3 on top of that does nothing but exacerbate that emotion.
I hate death.
Wow. Yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to continue playing that game. But the game itself, I'll be the first to admit I've never played Earthbound. Perhaps one of the most notorious, is notorious the right word? Infamous, popular, well-known. Help me with a word here, people.
Infamous, well-known, notorious.
I feel like infamous would mean that this game killed a lot of people.
Popular.
Well-respected. Maybe. You get what I'm trying to say. RPGs of all time, and I've done nothing more than meander around the character's living room in the first 5 minutes of the game. It's not because I don't want to. It's just I don't want to. I don't know. I don't have a valid explanation for why I haven't played it. But from what I've read and heard, this game isn't a sequel, because Earthbound, I believe, is originally titled Mother, and this is Earthbound is Mother 2, and this is Mother 3.
Okay.
I think. I'm probably getting this wrong. It's either Earthbound is Mother 2 and this is Mother 3, or Earthbound is Mother and this is Mother 2. So, whatever. It's not directly related. It basically, this game happened because of Earthbound, and it never came out in America. It's a Game Boy Advance game for some odd reason. It looks super slick. Like, just playing it, you think it's a Super Nintendo game, but it never made it to Western shores. For what reason? Don't know. So a few years back, modders decided to take it upon themselves to create an English translation and released a patch for the ROM. So the only way to...
Rockstars did that. That was incredible.
Yeah, they'd spent years doing this, because there is a lot of text in that game. And it's insanely well translated. You can usually tell when a translation is really poor because a lot of the idioms won't make the transition well. So you can tell that they looked at the original language of this, and then they understood the idioms in that language and how they would translate and have the same correlation or effect in English. So they spent a ton of time, because that game has some stellar writing.
It is hilarious.
There is some,
like, so witty, and yeah.
So it's I don't know. I don't remember the beginning of the game, because the end of the first chapter is so impactful. I kind of forgot about the beginning. How does it start again?
It starts where your wife and kids are visiting, like, their grandfather, and you play the little weakling boy, and you just walk around the farm and you charge the dragos.
Oh yeah, yep. The apparently these really tame, friendly dragons that you can run into and they don't eat you.
Yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, these dragons who can kill us are really, really friendly, so let's hit them a bunch of times? That's the dumbest thing ever. Let's make them cake and give them flowers and be really nice to them. Dumbasses.
So that's right. Okay, so you're up in the cabin with your... It's hard because you switch perspectives. I think technically the game takes perspective from, is his name Flint? Yeah, the main character is Flint. So at the beginning, Flint's wife and kids are up visiting her dad. The names are really goofy. Her name's like Hainawa, and the kid is like Jack and Klaus, and really goofy names. But at the end of that little scene, they decide to make their way back down to Zamali Village, and that's when it flips over to Flint. And I'm trying to remember what happens next.
Then, so it flicks back to Flint, and then all of a sudden, this guy is like running because the forest is on fire.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then there's aliens.
Yeah. Where they came from. Well, are they really aliens, or are they more just like...
Aliens.
Okay. So the forest between where your family and you are somehow starts on fire, so you are tasked with going and helping people, and for some reason Flint just completely forgets about his wife and kids. He's like, they'll be fine. They're probably at home right now anyway. So he goes out and helps a bunch of people, and discovers that his wife and kids aren't up at that shack in the mountains. So he makes his way back, and that's when shit gets real. Like, for a Game Boy Advance game to have some emotional moments in it is impressive.
Yeah.
Do we want to ruin it or not?
Well, it's just the first little bit, right? Like,
yeah, you're still in the beginning of the first chapter. I mean, you can kind of deduce because it's called The Night of the Funeral.
Yeah. Because spoiler alert with the title.
Yeah. So you get back to town, and you think maybe you missed your wife in the past, and they've made it home, and you get home to discover that they're not there. But
there's a letter. And that pissed me off, though. Oh, the wife writes the letter, so you get to see it scroll on the screen.
You had to read it twice.
And then the husband opens. Yeah, I was like, we get it.
I think that would have been more impactful had she just written the letter, put it on the pigeon, and then you read it later and not read it before she sent it. Because that was a really, really impactful letter. And
she was going to make omelet.
Did you choose omelet?
Yeah, I chose all the default settings.
I was really tempted to put dirty stuff in there, like turd sandwich.
What do you love the most? Oh yeah, wife, you know.
Make some turd sandwich. But no, so you come to find out that your wife dies. Your kids survive, but your wife dies because. And did they?
Drogo tooth.
Because of what?
A Drogo tooth.
That's right. So maybe little shithead Klaus shouldn't have been ramming into those Dragos. And his wife would still be alive.
But then he goes batshit crazy and beats up everyone.
That's a crazy scene. There's some good animation in that.
That was, like, intense. Like, they really portrayed the feelings there.
Oh,
I was really impressed with that.
Takes a 2x4 and smashes the fire apart. Did you notice, maybe this is something that I picked up on, but the guy that he ends up hitting in the face with the board, while he's going crazy, the guy that gets hit has this stupid shit-eating grin on his face as he walks forward to get hit in the face. It's like, yeah, you deserved to get hit for having that stupid grin on your face.
I did not see that.
So funny. But after that, you go on this quest to find your son, who has taken it upon himself to exact revenge on the Drago who killed his mom. And you take the role of Flint and go up into the mountains, and along the way, you discovered what started this fire. And it is these alien pig-type creatures who have been killing creatures and then combining them with robots, and those serve as the boss battles along the way. And there's after that scene with the fire and he beats everybody up, it's probably only about another hour till the end of the chapter, and I think each chapter is only about 3 hours long. But the combat system in this game is surprisingly good, but the restoration materials come kind of few and far between.
Yeah, I found that tricky at some places.
I got to the boss battle for this level, and I wasn't powerful enough to take him down in a few hits, but I also didn't have enough healing materials to get me through the battle. So I feel like if you just fight every enemy along the way, you're not going to have to do any backtracking and grinding. I had to do about an hour worth of grinding, which kind of sucked, but my only complaint is that the battle system background is annoying as hell. Because it's like one of those pictures, those pixelated pictures you would stare at, and then long enough, and it would suddenly turn into an image.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of annoying.
I found it to be a little difficult because the whole equipping the weapon too, that threw me off because I didn't equip it, so it wasn't working. And then trying to figure out the special attacks.
The special attacks don't always work.
Yeah. So it was one of those trial and error things, which was fine. But
yeah, that game's I didn't want to play past chapter 2 until we talked about it, because I kind of want to play it progressively like the fans asked us to. But there's, like I was telling Elias, there are very few retro RPGs that I pick up and play all the way through because I get bored with them. I picked up Golden Sun and loved the first 2 hours of it, but I'm not going to go back to it because it's, I don't know, it didn't hold my interest. But this one, I genuinely want to finish.
Yeah.
But let's see. Did you guys play anything else?
No.
That's pretty much all I had time for.
Should we do some emails?
Sure.
Right.
Could. I am going to have to boot, however.
Oh, no.
My daughter just texted me I need to go pick her up. So.
All right. Jess and I will do emails, and we'll
hold down the fort.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I really appreciate it. And everybody out there listening, hope you enjoyed our guest tonight. And get some time to play some games that we talked about. I know I'm looking forward to playing some Mother and some more Immortal for the next time, So
we are hopefully going to be able to tell you what we're playing more than 2 days in advance.
Yeah,
that would be swell. I actually have 2 days off in the week next week, so it should be a great time.
Holy!
So, yeah.
Hey, you got to email me my present soon, or not email me. You got to mail me my present soon.
Yes, you should send me your address.
Okay.
And then I'll give you the information for the other thing too.
Okay. Where can we find you on Twitter?
Stuff. At Quilted Tunic.
All right, get out of here.
All right.
Wait, are you hosting the call?
I am.
Okay, good.
Jess is.
Good, get out of here. I'm going to kick you out.
I don't know how to do it.
Bye, Aaron.
Bye, guys.
Okay. We're still here.
So, one of our emails, our first one comes from Ryan Yedinik. Yedinik? I don't know. It sounds Eskimo.
Yedinik?
Inuit? Anyway, he says,
it's Inuit in Canada.
Hey, FSP, it's me, Ryan, writing in again. First off, I would like to apologize for any spam you received from me that you mentioned last week. No idea why it was sent to you, but it should be taken care of. If you receive any more, you should let me know. Next, I'd like to thank you for taking... Yeah, he did. My suggestion for Mother 3, and hope you're enjoying it so far. Now, as for my opinion on it, I feel like the first chapter really sinks its hooks into you with its depressing moments. The emotion you feel from the 16-bit game with no voice acting is an incredible feat that the developers accomplished. Also, I think the battle system is pretty standard, but with a nice twist with comboing to the beat of the music.
Oh yeah, you could bam them.
Really?
Yeah, if you were attacking and you pressed the whatever button.
I thought that was just happening because after playing Final Fantasy VIII, I would always double attack just in case the battle system had an extra attack built in.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
I think the first chapter sets up the plot very well, but is odd for a Mother game to have such a depressing atmosphere. I kind of noticed that too, because from what I've heard of Earthbound, it's very lighthearted and I don't want to say childish, but definitely not like this. One last thing, it may not be apparent in this chapter, but the writing in this game is fantastic, which you will see in coming chapters. Overall, I hope you enjoyed the first chapter and hope you choose to continue on to the next chapters. Thanks, Ryan.
I love the writing. So funny.
It is witty, it's sharp, and there are a few times where I've actually caught myself laughing, and it's little stupid things, like the guy comes to get you from your house, and he's arguing with the doorknob. And you finally come out and the doorknob breaks and he calls you doorknob and just gets into a flutter. It's just...
Yeah, it's funny.
It may not sound funny, but it is.
There were a few little quips and stuff in there that I was like, wow, I'm impressed that came out.
Yeah. It's definitely good writing. We got an email last week from Chad J. I'm not going to read it. But we just wanted to give him a shout out for his amazing email. He was very blunt with his opinion about something, and we're taking it to heart.
How cool I am.
I think he was complimenting your muscles.
I think he was too.
So Nick Stevens writes in, says, "Hello, Factory Sealed crew. I'm emailing something different this week, and I don't know how. Jess, can you pull this up on your email and we can do this together? Because he says, I'm emailing something different this week since I have no clue what you're going to play tonight about or talk about this week. I have a challenge for you. My local church holds an open mic night from time to time, and I'll occasionally conduct a Name That Tune game where I'll play a quick guitar riff and people try to guess the song. Whoever gets the riff, or whoever guesses the song right, gets a prize. Well, I started to work on a classic video game edition, but after playing a few of the classic game tunes during church band practice, I realized no one would guess any of them. I must be the only nerd there. So with that said, I've attached a recording of me playing the little tune from an NES game. If you can guess it, I may just send you a prize. A very treasured GBA game from my collection will be rewarded. It ranks right up there with Goof Troop. If that's the case, save yourself the shipping, put it in your
If that's the case,
yeah,
it is yours. Like, no matter what.
No. If it ranks up there with Goof Troop, save yourself the shipping cost, put it in your barbecue, and light it on fire. Anyway, you could either love this idea or think it's completely lame, but I didn't want to go a week without emailing my favorite podcast. By the way, the answer is at the very bottom. You'll have to resize it because it's 4 point. Where is this thing attached? Do you see it?
Yeah, it's at the bottom.
Oh, okay. I'm going to download this. So what I'm going to do is we'll listen to it, and then I'm going to cut out a section so everybody else can listen to it, and I'll insert that. So we'll do it.
Fancy.
Right. I'm gonna listen to it.
My iTunes is opening.
I feel like I'd be able to get this if it didn't have all the distortion. What is that? I'll wait till you're done.
Oh, the last little part.
Yeah, it sounds like a Zelda game.
Yeah.
Is it? Which? I gotta listen to it one more time.
Yeah.
I just gotta listen to that last part.
It's the last little part.
What is that? Okay, what's your guess?
I would agree with Zelda, but I don't know what one.
I don't know which one either, but I'm gonna say it's a Zelda game. Let's zoom in. What is it? Zelda 2. Look at this. We're just that good. I don't know what part from Zelda 2.
That sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Good guitar playing.
Blows me out of the water. All I write are songs about pooping and texting people about it. That's an actual song that exists, and Eads found it on the internet, and I had to quickly take it down because I didn't want that to make its way around the world.
I would sing songs to my cat all the time. I'd just put her name and stuff, and it would mostly be about her pooping. So
this song was called "I Heart Pooping" and texting you about it. There was something in there about a Titanic poop because it broke in half when I flushed it.
Oh no, where was Jack and Rose?
They were probably the pieces of corn.
Oh god. That analogy just got too real too quick. Okay.
All right. Fantastic. I want my prize. I want my Goof Troop. Let's see. Game suggestion coming from Blake Good. Good? How do you G-U-D-E?
Dude.
Good. Okay. Hey, Factory Seal crew, I would like to make a game suggestion. I suggest the game Battle Tanks for the N64. I remember playing this game nonstop as a young child and having tons of fun. Of course, about half of the time I was playing on an unplugged controller watching my dad. But this game holds great memories for me, and I recommend you guys give it a shot. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Blake. Did you ever do that?
No, I was just going to ask you that.
I don't think I ever did. I know that when my cousins were younger, I would give them an unplugged controller, and they would just press on that. Well, I was playing, and that's about it. But
I've never done that, and both ways. I haven't done that.
You're just
too nicer person.
You would have figured it out right away.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I've never done that, and someone's not laughing at being like, "Wow."
I don't think I've ever heard of battle tanks.
No.
Let's see. I don't think we have any more emails. You know what? I totally forgot to say. If you want to write in emails, game suggestions, opinions, love letters.
Aw, love letters.
Whatever you want to send us. Factory sealed at manatank.com.
I got a tweet, though, about Pokemon.
Oh, Jesus.
What? Pokemon Emerald.
What about it?
From Zach.
He wants us to play it?
He thinks we should play Pokemon Emerald. It's honestly the best Pokemon game and one of the best games on the Game Boy Advance. It was Nintendo's first attempt to reboot the series.
That's what.
And it also has one of the best soundtracks ever.
That's what everybody said about Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, but I love Pokemon Yellow. I can't do that.
You can't do that?
I'm laughing too much.
Are you tongue?
Try doing that when you laugh.
It's oh my god. We have this show has horrendously. Aaron, come back.
Derailed.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
I feel like I did, but not after that.
I think we should leave it on that high note.
Where can we find you on Twitter, Jess?
At Jess M. Clarkson.
If you want to follow me, at Honest Pizza. That's going to do it for a show. Jess failing horribly at blowing. You want to do that one more time?
No. I'm done.
One more time.
No.
Take us out, Jess. One more time.